Welcome, everybody, to Football Discussion Daily. My name is Joe, and I'm here with the co-host,
You.
CGO, or George. Today's the 24th of March, 2026. Please like us, subscribe us. We release long form on YouTube every day, short form on Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms. The biggest news of the day is that Mo Salah is announced after the season he is leaving Liverpool. We will talk about all aspects of his career at Liverpool, all aspects of where he could go next, what's next for him. Is this a good move for him? Is this a good move from Liverpool? But I think that when he signed, doesn't just recap his time at Liverpool, he signed 2017 summer, early in the window from Roma. He immediately came in and scored, was one of the highest goal scorers in the league, I think, almost every year. With Liverpool, he's won 2 Premier Leagues, 1 Champions League, gotten to 3 Champions League finals, FIFA Club World Cup. He's won 1 FA Cup, 2 League Cups, and a UEFA Super Cup. He's had numerous individual awards, several Player of the Seasons, African Player of the Seasons. He had 1 goal of the season, which ironically was for not his best goal. In my opinion, not even a top 10 Mo Salah goal, but he won it for a goal that he probably didn't deserve. He had several African Team of the Year awards. He just has an exceptional career. George, fun fact: Mo Salah's first ever game at Anfield is a game that you remember. I guarantee you remember. Do you remember it? Do you know what it is off the top of your head? It is the game.
I think they won 2-0 in that game, if my memory serves me right. I don't know
Mo
if I'm.
Salah's first ever game at Anfield was for Chelsea. And in that game, Steven Gerrard slipped and Demba Ba scored and Liverpool lost the title. Mo Salah played 60-something minutes for Chelsea that day. But then 3 years later, he signed for Liverpool. There's a crazy small story because Mo Salah did play for Chelsea for a season. I think he had 13 appearances and 1 goal for a Mourinho team. He was not ready for Premier League at 2021. He came back 3 years later at 24 and obviously has had a very successful career. George, in your opinion, what do you think Mo Salah is going to be remembered most for? And what is your favorite Mo Salah performance or goal that you can remember?
I don't know. Mo Salah, to be honest with you, that guy really made the Premiership very fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to talent, that guy is highly talented, especially with his left foot. He did a lot of wonderful stuff um, when it comes to dribbling, when it comes to scoring, when it comes to creativity. Mo Salah was just there. I think Liverpool fans will really miss him. They will miss the exploit of Mo Salah.
Do you have a favorite individual goal from him that you remember?
I think one individual goal that I remember him for is there was a goal he scored against Chelsea.
I do remember that goal. I mean, as soon as he said against Chelsea, I'm like, I remember the Chelsea goal.
Yeah.
It was in 2019, I believe. It was right as Liverpool. It was the same season that Liverpool got 98, 97 points, lost the league to Man City. They made the Champions League final. I think it was in the run-in towards the end of the season. It was an exceptional, just
That was a very
absolute rocket.
it was like a rocket. So that goal was a very beautiful goal. So anytime I think of Mohamed Salah, that's one goal that always come to mind. But credit must go to him, somebody who has been able to score 191 Premier League goals in 323 appearances. That is a very big plus for him. And when you look at all-time goal scorers in the Premier League, he's fourth on the table. Alan Shearer is on first position. I think he scored about 260 goals, and then followed by Harry Kane, and then we have Wayne Rooney as the third. Salah comes in at the fourth person. So somebody who has been able to achieve that kind of, he's not a striker, but
No.
he has, because look at the people who are at the top. These are strikers. And then Mo Salah, who is not a striker, he's just a winger. He's
Well,
not on
George,
the.
I do feel like playing with a guy like Firmino or Benzema or the game has changed where wide forwards do score, can in the right setup can score as much as traditional strikers, if not more. I don't feel like that's a that's a thing where you can say that the winger's scoring crazy amount of goals. I mean, in a good setup, especially the last 10 years, I think it's almost switching back now to number 9 score more. But certainly in the 2015 to 2024 period, Mo Salah's peak. Like we saw wingers like Ronaldo with Benzema, Salah's relationship with Firmino was very similar, where Benzema would create space, Firmino would create space, Mo Salah would exploit it, and they just had such a connection that was really awesome to watch. Obviously coached up by Klopp, it was brilliant. I'll say my favorite Mo Salah goal. I'll say 2 goals. One against Tottenham, I think it was in a 2-2 game. I remember this game. It was the same day the Philadelphia Eagles won their first Super Bowl. But he just like turns the entire team and just fires it right to the top. He
Yeah, I
scored
remember the goal.
There's a goal against Man City where he just destroyed João Cancelo. I don't want to say he destroyed it, like, because I feel like any defender in the world would have nobody would have stopped him there. He just did a quick turn. I think it was in another 2-2 game where it's just quick space with 2 or 3 guys right around him, and it was just exceptional. I remember he did a chip against Roma. Allison might have been the keeper for Roma that day. In the Champions League when Liverpool won, I think it was like 5-1 against Roma. He did a chip of the goalkeeper, who I believe was Allison, that was just exquisite. I remember watching that game being really excited. So a lot of great goals from Mo Salah over the years. And
the guy is very quick with his feet, very very quick. When he wants to dribble so fast, it's just that age is telling on him. And we know when it comes to the Premier League, you just have to keep up with the energy, which is not that easy, especially for somebody who has been so used to scoring lots of goals. And to show you how good this guy is, he became the highest goal scorer in the Premier League on 4 occasions. So he has won the Golden Boot in the Premier League on 4 occasions. That's not something that you see in most players. That's very difficult to achieve. So,
personal question: How does Chelsea fans view Salah? Because obviously he had a year at Chelsea where he was not a bad player, but he obviously wasn't ready. He comes back and becomes a Liverpool legend. I mean, do you feel like this is a situation where you're mad? You're kind of wondering what could have been at Chelsea.
of course, it's very painful when you have a player like Mo Salah. Not only Mo Salah, we also had the Kevin De Bruyne, who also was a Chelsea player before, and then he left the club to Wolfsburg, and then came to Manchester City, and then became a beast. Same thing with Mo Salah. He left Chelsea. The Chelsea got him from Basel, and the funny thing is that Chelsea outsmarted Liverpool to get the signature of Mo Salah that year. And then after they got him from Basel, he couldn't get much game time, because if you look at the squad that Chelsea had then, it was difficult for somebody like Mo Salah to get a starting shirt in the team. And then if you look at the kind of quality of player, the likes of Hazard, we had the likes of Hazard in that team. It's very difficult for you to get a kind of a game time. So
it's crazy that like Hazard is only a year older. I mean, Mo Salah obviously peaked later in his career. Hazard peaked earlier in his career. It just feels like they're from 2 different eras. But it's just crazy. Mo Salah's career overlap with Hazard. But you're right. He would not have developed to the player he's become if he had stayed at Chelsea. He might have. He might not have. I don't think he would have. I think he needed that year in Fiorentina and Roma. A lot of this is why I mean that I feel like players, clubs need to buy more established players if they really are serious about winning rather than potential. Because again, like Mo Salah was bought on potential by Chelsea, did not develop there, had to go to Italy for 3 years in order to develop, and so, or 2.5 years. So, yeah, he's great. I think we were robbed of what would have been an all-time great Champions League final in 2018 when he went down. I felt like the game totally changed when Klopp had to bring on Adam Lallana, who's not a bad player, but he's not Mo Salah on for when he got injured in that final. It was very disappointing. I think Mo Salah, I think I saw him cry when he had to go off the field. He tried to play through. In my opinion, Sergio Ramos intentionally injured him. I still feel that way.
Sergio Ramos was the culprit on that day. He just got the guy out of that game, and as soon as Salah left the pitch,
Very different
Liverpool
game.
totally collapsed. They couldn't
I,
keep up anymore. So it shows you how important Mohamed Salah is. And like you rightly said, when he was at Chelsea, I know few games he was made to play. You will notice that Mo Salah was not really ready at that point. So I think he going to Florentina and also playing for Roma on loan before Roma signed him on a permanent deal really helped him so much. But one thing that got me surprised was when he was doing so well, he did well in Fiorentina. When he got to Roma, he was doing so well. I expected that Chelsea would have brought him back to the club, but I was surprised. They sold him to Roma, and before you know it, Liverpool, who have always been interested in Mo Salah, went and got him. And then when the guy came, he became something else. He was firing at all cylinders. He became a player that was very much unstoppable. And one thing I love about the guy, all through the period he has been in Liverpool, apart from this season, he was very, very impactful. He was very, very consistent in his performance. So that's one thing I really cherish about Mohamed Salah. I can't remember a season, apart from this season, where Mo Salah didn't turn up or didn't live up to expectation.
yeah,
He
and
was
even this season, I feel like okay. So a lot of players who are 33 years old experience this. I feel like Mo Salah could still play 30 to 60 minutes once a week for Liverpool. The difference between 33 and 31 and or 29 or 27 is not ability to do it twice a week for 90 minutes. Mo Salah is somebody who some players' egos don't allow them to be like, all right, I'm not as good as I once was. I'll play 30 to 60 minutes once a week. I don't care. Like Bobby Firmino did, and he was still very effective for Liverpool well after he was a starter. Luka Modric can still play 30 minutes in one of the top 5 leagues in the world and is still incredible and did that for years for Madrid after he couldn't quite do um, the crazy minutes he did. Mo Salah is still, I feel like can still finish. Um, he's not the Mo Salah of the past, but I'm very curious as to what his career ends up. He strikes me as somebody who's still hungry, still wants to prove himself. I've seen him in interviews talking. He is furious when he gets subbed off. He is furious when he at himself when he doesn't score. This is not the mentality of a guy who I feel like is looking for a paycheck next year, an easier time next year. This is somebody who feels like a change in scenery might suit his career a little bit. I was thinking, George, I don't know what you think next. I'll throw out a solution. Next, what's next for Mo Salah? And I'm going to throw out something, George. I'd love to hear your thoughts. There's one coach in Europe who is taking several forwards who I feel like are washed and has made them perform very well. Guys who are 34, 35, 36. That coach is Diego Simeone. We've seen it with Torres. We've seen it with Suarez, where he's taken guys who people thought they were past it and done very well. They just announced Griezmann leaving. I think that's a potential. I think Mo Salah would do very well in a slower league, and his finishing would be cherished there. Just one avenue. There's rumors to him to MLS. There's rumors to him to Saudi. Nothing concrete. What do you feel like is next for his career?
no, like you said, Mo Salah, if he goes to the Spanish league, I feel he's going to do very well. But the rumors we are hearing is that clubs in the MLS and also in Saudi are the clubs. Those are the clubs that are coming, that are very much interested in him. There are no news about any other club in Europe showing interest in Mo Salah. One thing is very clear: Mo Salah will not be. I don't think he would like to play for any other club in England. Based on trying to show respect to Liverpool,
You
just
say
like we
that,
are.
but if he could go to any club that's not Manchester United or Everton, like 17 other clubs, and Liverpool fans, they shouldn't be mad at him if he's not going to go to Everton or Manchester United because that's out of respect for Liverpool. But would they really care if he went to Aston Villa or if he went to? Who cares if he went to Spurs in Championship? If he goes to newly promoted Coventry or Bournemouth, like of course Mo Salah won't do that because he still he still wants to go to Europe. But out of respect for Liverpool, you can't just write off an entire country. Like
Joe,
Liverpool fans hate James Milner for playing for Brighton.
but
No,
you can't compare James Milner with Mo Salah. Mo Salah is seen like a legend of the club. He has broken a lot of records for Liverpool. You can't talk about Liverpool without mentioning Mo Salah. Mo Salah is more like one of the greatest player that has come out of Liverpool. So I feel he would like to respect the club by not going to play for any English club. It's just like we
Again,
saw.
George, there's no rivalry with Liverpool with any other, like Everton and Manchester United. Yes, you are right, but he can go any, like there's nothing with any other club for England. Like players shouldn't think that way, and fans who think that way, I feel like are wrong. Maybe like Man City because they competed for titles just recently, but not really. Like there's no historical rivalry with Man City. They're not. Yeah, they don't hate each other. Like again, Everton. Huh?
But there's something you are not getting here. If you look at the attitude of Mo Salah, so Mo Salah has a very strong connection with Liverpool. So such a player who has such connection, that's why you see most times when he's not playing, knowing fully well that he's no more playing at that level we all know him to be playing at, you would notice that he feels so pain. That was why at some point he was having some little issues with Arne Slot, because there were games where he was substituted out, and then we had games where he was benched. Mo Salah didn't take it in good faith because he loved the club so much. So it might be very
No, George.
difficult.
Any player who's been that good and can't play, it's a struggle. It's not because of his love for the club. And George, again, not wanting to play for Liverpool, that doesn't mean he wouldn't go if his next career move is best for him to go to Aston Villa. I'll use them as an example. There's no Liverpool. If Liverpool fans get mad at that, that is like just them wanting to be angry. Like you have to let go. It is the right move. He is not Liverpool, unfortunately, need to move on from him. Salah needs on to Liverpool at the time. It's the right time. The right timing was probably last year. I think most Liverpool fans would admit, given his performances this year, it was never going to happen because he was so good last year, and Liverpool fans would not have allowed it. But George, that is something that like you like. It's not a thing where players write off every single club in an entire country because of one team. Again, James Milner is not as good as Salah, not as much of a legend for Salah, but still loves Liverpool as much as Salah and moved to another team in England that has no historical rivalry with Liverpool. And Liverpool fans have all still love James Milner. I mean, he's a great servant to the club for, I think, it's the same amount of years as Mo Salah, maybe 1 year less.
But Joe, ask yourself, why were Liverpool fans angry with Trent Alexander-Arnold? Why were they angry with him, despite all he has done for the club?
Because, I mean, first off, I think those fans are also misguided, but it's a very different situation. Trent said that his boyhood dream was to captain Liverpool, was to win a Champions League with a final. He also is in the middle of his career, not the end of his career. Trent could still contribute to the club, hypothetically, in his later 20s, early 30s. Mo Salah is probably done with his contributions on the field to his club. Definitely past his peak. He's a 33-year-old player. I think he'll be 34 this summer. I think he's born June 92.
Yes.
Very much past his peak and won everything. Mo Salah, Trent also kind of kept it hidden until until after last season. I firmly believe that Trent told the other players and upper management very early in last season, and it was very professional last year, and that any Liverpool fan looking to be angry at Trent is just looking to be angry at something, because you can't just hold on to every player forever. And Trent did not go to Manchester United or to Everton. Real Madrid, as much as it stinks that Liverpool lost 2 Champions League finals to them, and is not a traditional rival. And he's doing something very different with his career, and good for him. He's 25 and has won life.
But being realistic, what do you think would be let me say, which club, or will I say which country do you think would be the next destination of Mo Salah, if we are just being realistic?
I think he's going to stay in Europe. I've seen him talk this season. He strikes me as a player who still wants to prove himself in the highest level, and deep down he knows that's Europe. Yeah. So we'll see though. I think I don't know if Mo Salah even knows that at this point, or if he's just announcing I'm leaving Liverpool. His extension last year gave both club and player an out for the summer. So I think that Mo Salah is a great legend. Let me close out by saying asking a couple questions. Number one, what is your favorite goal or performance from Mo Salah? What do you think is the next most likely situation for Mo Salah? Is it a club like Atletico Madrid or a team in Italy like Roma, Juventus, AC Milan, something like that? Is it MLS? Is it Saudi? And number three, do you feel like it would be unfair to Liverpool or an affront to Liverpool fans if Mo Salah were to go to another team in England? Obviously, Manchester United, Everton, off limits, but another team in England. Let us know your thoughts. Thank you for listening.